2021's Nobody is not worth your money. Do not go and see it. That's my recommendation. From here on out, starting now, I'm all spoilers, and I'm going right into complaints. That's the review. This is the discussion slash more part of the review. It's going to be also my review. Okay, just go right into it. This movie should have just been released straight to Netflix. It's not good enough for a theater release. To be honest, I probably would have liked this movie if it was free, but it's not. It was not worth it. It was like $9.50 for the ticket. It's totally not worth it. It was a waste of my time. I don't even know where to start. The biggest problem with the movie, in my opinion, is the main character is awful. He's got nothing going for him. He's not a good person. I mean, the whole point of this movie, the reason that it starts off is because his daughter. Well, he gets robbed. Okay, obviously, everybody. If you're at this point, I'm assuming you saw the movie. So he gets robbed. He doesn't do anything about the robbery, which I'm on board with at first, because he's a trained killer. Probably doesn't need to be beating people up who broke into his house. But he gets mad that they took his daughter's kitty cat bracelet, but she's just going to take the word of like a 5-year-old, like some stupid little girl. He's not even going to look around the house. And then he goes in there and, smacks the dude in the head and kicks off all the events. But not only that, the main character, he's like upset that people treat him like a bitch, but he lets people treat him like a bitch. I understand that the point of the movie is finding yourself or being who you are, but there's a huge gap between being the cuck he was at the beginning and being the huge murderer that he is at the end. You can just be basically that good guy at the beginning, but have some self-respect, maybe if your wife says oh, have a real soldier, interview a real soldier, you'd be like, hey, fuck you, maybe something like that. Or just stand up for yourself, not let everybody in the world stomp all over you. Have a backbone. I mean, he clearly has a backbone, but just not when he's trying to live this family man. He's got to be a little cuck, a little simp. Yeah, you got to be an idiot. It's stupid. It's people who like this character, they baffle me. The director of this, or the writer, wrote John Wick, I believe. And I think John Wick's a stupid character too. People really like John Wick. Makes no sense to me. People like him because he's cool and quiet and he's got kind of morals, but he literally probably killed 200 people because they killed his dog. It's not equal. It's not an equivalent response. He's a bad character. He's literally an assassin. He's not a good character. People shouldn't like John Wick. I don't think that's the point of the character, is to like him, but people do. That's not the point of this review. So he's a poorly written character. The villain is awful. First of all, when I heard that it was the same writer as John Wick, I assumed the guy was racist for doing Russians again. But then I looked it up, and he's actually Russian. So he's probably not racist. Probably had some sort of he's probably just pulling from his past. But why Russians again? There's a million other more interesting villains, because these villains were, one, they were useless. They were useless the entire time. They didn't do anything except okay, they tased him because they wanted him alive for some reason. I don't know why you'd want him alive, because he beat up your brother, so you're gonna torture him or something, I guess. But he just broke out of the car. That guy, whoever's driving, should learn don't take your eyes off the road. And then also when he kicks down that little hatch, just close it really quick. Don't look at it shocked. What else could be going on? He kicks down that little hatch to get inside the car, and everyone's like, oh. You don't need to do that. Just close it. Oh no, he's got a fire extinguisher. Close it. Shoot him. There's any number of things. It's so stupid to there's a 2-second gap where he pops it open. They see him with the fire extinguisher. They look at him. He sprays it. The guy freaks out and crashes the car. And somehow he's ragdolling in a trunk, and he's the only one that doesn't get hurt. So stupid. The action. Oh, I'm actually gonna go back to the villains, because there's this trope in action movies that needs to die. That's the other bad part about this movie. I can't remember anyone's names. They're all stupid. The characters are unmemorable, and that's because it's poor writing. But anyways, when the main character, the nobody, is after he's had enough with these Russians, and he goes and burns the Obshak or Abshak. I don't know what it's called, because normally I commit to seeing every movie twice before I review it, but this movie was honestly so bad. Or not even bad, so nothing, Because if it was bad, I'd watch it again to see if I missed something. It's just not. I have no desire to ever see this movie again. But after they've had enough, and he burns the ab shack, and he goes and like sits down, like everybody pulls his gun on him, and he's like, "Whoa, I got something to show you." There's nothing this guy has to show you that's worth seeing. But then he shows his little claymore with a string tied to his ring, and everyone's like, "Oh no, put the guns away." Shoot him. Just shoot him. He's not that quick. Guess how fast a bullet is? Way quicker than he can react. Because literally by the time he hears the shot, he's already dead. That's how it works. Like, I understand that it's a movie, but there's a million other ways to show that, like, I got you. Like, he could just not be there. I mean, like, I don't know. I didn't write the movie, but like, have it like hooked up to his pulse if you want to have him bring a bomb and be like, hey, if I die, this bomb's gonna explode and we're all gonna die. I mean, that's kind of cliche too. I've seen it done like 100 times. But the claymore on the ring is stupid because he's not faster than a bullet. Okay, so it's just, I'm sick of seeing any of that in the movie. Anything where it's like, I'm sick of like any pointing a gun at somebody and they're pointing a gun back at you and they're like, drop the gun, and then one of them drops the gun. Just shoot him. Drop the gun. Bang. What, he's gonna react faster than the bullet? I mean, I guess you're taking the chance that it doesn't kill him, but you guys are holding guns to each other. You're in a dangerous game. This is not the time to be safe with your life. Just shoot him. Bang. You got a 50-50 chance of just killing him right there. If you miss your shot, you're probably gonna, you weren't long for this villain world anyways. Just shoot him. Just shoot him. That's all I'm saying. Just shoot him. The guards. I already talked about how incompetent they are, so I don't really want to get more into the incompetency of the guards. Anything in this movie worth watching? Because there's one good action scene, and it's the bus scene. It's probably the only good scene in the movie, to be honest. You can just look it up on YouTube. It's not worth the price of admission. Any action scene after that bus scene it just gets into shooting, like mindless shooting, but it's not even good shooting. Like, it's not satisfying to watch, because all of the heroes, there's like 3 heroes. There's like the nobody. I think it's his brother. Doesn't really do a good job. Obviously he's adopted because the dad's white and the brother's white, and I mean, maybe the mom's black, but I think it is implied that he's adopted. Again, I only saw it once. I'm not even sure he's his brother. That whole brother character is stupid. He only exists to just tell him things on the radio, like to be his little savior. Go see the barber. You'll thank me later. The barber is a stupid character. I mean, one, it doesn't even explain what's the barber do? He just sits there all day and gets shaved and gives people information. It makes no sense. Why? The brother's his only purpose is to just give him information and save the day. Go see the barber. Oh, at the end you need help? I'm here. And I pull dad out of the hospital. The dad's stupid too, because like he's like in a nursing home, but he's perfectly capable, so nobody just doesn't want to help his dad, because honestly, the dad's perfectly capable. If he's capable of a gunfight, shooting people with a shotgun, it's just stupid. They're all superheroes, and they all delight in killing too much. Like, they're 3 superheroes. They're basically 3 Hawkeyes or 3 Scarlet Witches. Or not Scarlet Witch. God, I messed this up. Black Widows. They're basically 3 Black Widows in a world of those stupid, mindless drones from the first Avengers movie. Like, they're just useless plebs. There's no point in having any bad guys in this movie. To make an action movie, you gotta have a good villain. Okay? Some movies can get away with a poor villain, but like, for the most part, an action movie needs a good villain, because there's nothing else going for it, especially if they have like a bad story. If you're gonna have a bad story, at least have a good villain. Like a villain that people hate. Maybe he's like a badass or quirky. I mean, saying this guy dances is not quirky, and he's not a badass because he can kill a guy who's not paying attention. I could kill a guy who's not paying attention. I could walk out in the hall and hit a guy with a bat, probably kill him. But it was a dumb display of his power, stabbing a dude with an eyeglass, or stabbing the dude in an eye with a wine glass. It's dumb. And then to walk over all smuggling and be like, do you trust me now? I'd be like, I trust you less, actually. Why didn't you, like... They were proved right to not trust him, because like the Obshak guards were useless. I mean, they literally heard the guy shooting from like 4 floors down, and they might as well have all had their pants down, just around their ankles. They might as well have just burnt the money themselves. How would I fix this movie? I would get off the fence. I think the movie rides the fence a lot. Like, I don't think this movie knows what it wants to be. It wants to be an action movie. It kind of wants to be a comedy. Okay? It's dumb. Don't fence right. Pick a movie. You want to make a comedy with action? Do it. You want to make an action movie? Do it. If you're going to make a straight action movie, take the comedy out. This movie wants to be a comedy action or an action comedy. I'm not going to stand for it. Just pick one or the other and then give it elements of one. I know it's kind of the same thing, but when you're like a half comedy, not even a half comedy, you just have like, you get a traditional comedy actor and you give him one funny line and it's not even that funny. A couple funny lines. But like, I would just make it a comedy with action, and I would have went all the way ridiculous. You already got Bob Odenkirk, who I would have recasted as like Adam Sandler. Bob Odenkirk, it's dumb. I mean, he's not dumb. He did fine, but I would have picked like Adam Sandler. I think he would be a more shocking. They only picked Bob Odenkirk because it was shocking, so I would have picked somebody even more shocking. Or like Steve Buscemi. I actually think Steve Buscemi would have been better casting. I think for a nobody movie, he's the exact person who you wouldn't expect to be an assassin. And then I would have like picked a better villain, something more ridiculous like the Amish, or even like the Mormon Church, something that would like believably have like a mobster retirement plan, and I would have went all in on that and just made it like accepted that it was ridiculous, but went all in on the ridiculous factor. Maybe it was just like it's just a group of hippies, like a hippie combine, you know, like a hippie, yeah. But I wouldn't have picked the Russians. Like you might as well pick. Even if it's modern day, do like the Nazis, like a Nazi faction. I would have just made it ridiculous. The Girl Scouts. That's how I'd fix it. Just, it's not worth your money. Don't watch it. Let me know what you guys think. I already know everyone's going to hate this video because it's got like 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. But like honestly, I just think people saw a movie out in theaters and they gave it a good rating. But not me. I'm better than that. You're better than that.